Welcome back to the Rub Some Dirt On It podcast. I'm your host, Coach Brian, and today I have a very special guest, a friend of mine, Coach Rebekah Garbett, who is the varsity volleyball coach at the Hammond School. But most importantly, she is also a mom of little athletes. So today we're going to get that perspective, which I'm very excited about. Rebekah, thank you so much for joining me today. Excited to have you here and get a different perspective on the whole youth sports thing.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So what is your sports background? Like, how did you come up? What sports did you play?
So I started actually in dance. I danced for a long time.
Okay.
My mom taught dance, so I danced. And around middle school is when I got into sports. I take that back a little bit. I did play some t-ball. My dad coached a team, and so the neighborhood kids, we played. So I did that for a couple years, but I mostly danced. And then in middle school, had a friend that wanted to play volleyball and taught me into going to the meeting with her. And I ended up playing volleyball, not her. And so began the sports thing. So I played volleyball, basketball, softball. I started in middle school and played through high school.
So was dance mostly ballet?
That was a little of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I did some ballet, like the tap, the jazz, and I did some gymnastics.
Clogging's really big in the South. Did you do ever clog?
No, I was actually at my studio. They had it, but I was I was not good at that. I mean, maybe I wasn't good at any of it, but I did not clog.
Yeah. So you moved from dance into sports, started with volleyball. When did volleyball kind of rise to the surface? Did you do softball too?
I did.
Soccer?
I did play a little soccer.
Okay.
Interesting, when I played that actually first, I guess that was my first like spring sport at school, and we were still a co-ed team. It was like a co-ed middle school team. And I had a friend that had moved in from Texas. And so we played like a couple of seasons of like travel soccer. And then I did play the one season at school, but then I went back to the softball.
What is your favorite sport to play?
To play?
Mm-hmm.
Softball.
Softball? Nice. We are softball teammates in some ways. Yeah. Our season did not start. We didn't do a summer season this year, did we? No.
No.
The group wanted to move on from Everplay.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with because I've been a little busy. I haven't even been able to play.
Right, I know. And everybody got tired of that mushy ball that nobody could hit. Well, some of us could. But.
Well, you are a very good softball player, I'd have to say, even today.
Oh, thank you. I try.
So softball is your favorite sport, but you don't really coach that.
No, I don't.
No, you just play it. And you do coach volleyball.
Yes.
So what is it about volleyball that draws you to the sport?
I think it is the overall team aspect. Of course, like softball is a team sport, but a lot of skills are like, you're hitting by yourself, and like there's communication, of course, and you have to work together, but I think collectively volleyball has to work as a closer unit. Because so much has to happen in rhythm on the court together. Do
you have things that you do in practice that helps with that rhythm?
We try.
Okay.
Some of it is, just the kind of, I don't know, some of my favorite drills are like, where they have to work, I don't want to say work hard, but, they have to like lay it out there, whether it's physically on the ground or, where there's a lot of communication pieces happening at once. That typically is that they hear me say it all the time, like we never communicate enough. And so sometimes we focus just on the creating chaos within the drill and, working your way out of it.
Interesting. Is I would imagine that the more they play together, the more kind of natural in sync that they become. Is that the case?
Yes. And that's hard, like, especially at the beginning, like this point in the season when we have kind of just established.
So have you guys started summer workouts?
We have. We're 2 summer workouts in now. This was our first week. And so we've been very productive to say we've only had 2, but the newness of like who's going to fill what role. And
you guys are losing a lot of seniors this year, right?
We lost 5.
5, and I think there's only 6 on the court at one time.
That's right.
That's right. Okay.
we bring back some key pieces. But we lost a lot of production too.
Yeah. Anyone that can really jump? Any high flyers?
We are working on that. In fact, we spent about 25 minutes on just jumping yesterday. So no big high flyers right now.
Okay.
But maybe soon.
Hopefully. So how does that volleyball season work in your coaching schedule and the mom schedule with all of the kids' activities?
So I'm very fortunate that I have great help. I try not to miss things. Sometimes it happens. It's the nature of the beast. But my husband coaches a lot he took on a lot of youth sports coaching roles as well. And so we have a crazy calendar. But I do, like I said, I have a lot of good help. And so I'm kind of out on the afternoons every day. And so between my mom and my husband, they get everybody shuffled around
where they need to be
to the places.
Yeah.
And
so you have 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl.
that's right.
And kind of Carter is really, has he gotten through middle school yet?
Oh no, we have one more year.
Hopefully
only
middle
one
school?
more year.
So he's kind of experiencing all of that. He's obviously experienced all of the pre-middle school athletics, and now is kind of in that mode where he's full competition and trying out for stuff. And what has that experience been like for him?
So it has been, I would say, a little bit of a roller coaster experience, because this upcoming school year will really be his 3rd full year in interscholastic sports, which it's been very fun. It actually has created a little less chaos in terms of people needing to get places because he's already there. But he tried football the first year, and kind of didn't think it was for him. And
even though he's a big kid,
then right, it just I don't know if it just didn't match his expectation.
What did he like about it?
What didn't he like?
Yeah.
He didn't like that he really didn't understand his role.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so that was like a parenting challenge for us, because we're not, well, first of all, we are once you start something, you're going to finish it. And he never wanted, it wasn't that he didn't want to finish it. But he just really never found like a place on the team, and he didn't really understand, he just never played football before. So the idea behind like practices where a lot of it happens standing on the sideline because you're, other folks are working on the field, and just maybe a lack of understanding of a position, because he wasn't like a skilled position. He was like a lineman. And so that was a little bit of a foreign concept to him.
And also probably hard to accept a little bit, since he was very much a standout in baseball and soccer and those types of things, right?
Yeah. He just, and, some of it was just not understanding, like, am I going to go in the game and am I not going to go in the game? And we had a lot of I don't want to say hard conversations, but we had a lot of conversations, like, in the car about, hey, you just got to, find your way. You got to, you just keep working. And, but he wasn't interested in going back to football. He decided to try out for soccer in the spring instead of baseball, which was
a heartbreaker for Danny, or
a little bit, yeah, a little bit. But kind of under the agreement that he played school soccer, but he still plays some travel baseball.
Okay.
And so then that kind of led us to last year, where he did not play football, but he signed up for wrestling, which was like a complete shock.
Really?
To us, because we had actually talked about it. Because my rule, so to speak, is that you gotta be doing something each season.
Right.
So you're not just gonna chill at the house and play video games. So he was like trying to figure out what he was going to do, and we talked about wrestling, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do it." Like the weekend before, and then I'm on the bus headed to a volleyball game, and Danny sends me a text. He's like, "Hey, I just picked up Carter. He said he signed up for wrestling." And I was like,
okay.
"Oh." I was like, "Does he know what they wear?" He's like, "I don't know, but I'm not telling him." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Cross that bridge when he comes there.
Yeah. And it turned out to be an amazing experience.
Yeah.
He was really pretty good at it. And
well, with his karate background,
yes,
I would imagine that helps a lot.
Yeah. And he's, Carter, he's passive. Like, he's not, I'm like, he's got to, like, get on the mat. Like, and he does it. He's not like a center of attention guy. He's definitely not a talker. Not that that is required in wrestling, but, like, and
the WWE it is.
yeah. So it was like the first match we went to, we had like no expectations. We're like, we have no idea how this is going to go. And he turned out to have a great season. We thought it was a great experience. He wants to do it again.
Nice.
And so, yeah.
So he's going to be a soccer player, a wrestler, and
we're going back to football this fall.
You're going to try football again?
Yeah, we're
well,
going back. Good. But he's, he's gotten taller. He's really trimmed and fit. So I'm excited to see. I mean, he was like, what, he's like, I just don't know. And I was like, you should try it again. I'm like, you're a different kid than you were the first time.
Yeah.
Physically, mentally. So go back out there.
That's exciting.
We'll see.
And then Thomas, we're just going to go through all the kids and just break down everything that they do and get that perspective of it's easy, I think, for dads to sit and talk about their kids playing sports. And part of the reason why I wanted you on the program was because, one, you're a coach, but you're a mom too that has to put your kids through it. And from the other moms that I've spoken to about sports and youth sports in general, it's sometimes hard to see them go through certain aspects of winning and losing and not getting able to play, and they process it on a different level, right? So,
yeah, I think so.
That's part of my curiosity in this, is how you have a little bit of an advantage because you're a coach, but it's still your baby, right?
That's
so
right.
How does that work? Now, I was fortunate enough to coach Thomas in 2 soccer seasons.
That's right.
And then I helped Danny on one of his baseball teams where Hollis was on with Thomas. And then you guys made the big jump to travel ball and got out of rec ball. How does that travel ball lifestyle suit you? Do you feel like you are on the meme train of, oh, I hate travel ball, or this is the greatest thing in the world? Because there's definitely 2 camps in there.
Sure. Thomas,
Mm-hmm.
was very fortunate to have found a team, and it it kind of came through some connections. You know, I guess slight backstory, you know, Danny played a whole lot of adult softball, like weekend softball, traveling, doing all the things. And we played a lot of co-ed too. So we met a whole lot of people along that way. And so now some of those guys have kids that are, you know, around the same ages. And so we found out about this team having tryouts, and we showed up, and, you know, they liked what Thomas had to offer. And so we, you know, agreed to play. And you know, sometimes the stars just align. Mm-hmm. And it was just an amazing pick for us, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, kind of all synced together.
We have loved this team. It is a great group of parents, a great group of kids. It's not the crazy travel ball where we're out of town every weekend. We play locally, and it's, you know, maybe every other weekend, just in town.
So he's in kids pitch level right now?
Yes.
9U or 10U?
We're 10U.
10U, okay.
And this is the second full season that pretty much the same team has been together. And so I'm not on the, like, this is crazy travel ball train. And I think maybe some of it is just depends upon your experience, but
right.
The coaches that we are fortunate enough to have work very well with all the kids, including our own Thomas can be a little bit of a firecracker sometimes. And
so how many times a week do they practice?
So twice at the most.
Okay.
And I guess cool thing, our coach, now they have turned a piece of property they have into a baseball field.
Wow.
And so we practice there, which is super cool. It's convenient. It's not far away. And yeah, so we're not in the crazy travel ball world. We're in the
in the keeping it sane travel ball world.
Keeping it sane, pretty simple.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do with Rise.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way to go, because these guys are 10.
But now I have two on two different teams. Last year was good because Everett was able to play up with Hollis, and
yes.
But now I got two.
Yes. When Carter was doing that and Thomas was doing that, that was,
at least they're both on Rise, so I can hopefully try to get the tournaments at the same time.
Right.
Location.
Right.
So I don't have 12 different tournaments to go to.
Yes.
But we're going to try that for fall. So we're still going to do Trentham Little League in the spring. We're just going to do travel ball in the fall.
Yeah.
And give it a little different flavor to it.
Right, just a little bit. And I said it doesn't have to be crazy. They're not all crazy.
So, when Thomas got onto the travel ball team, though, he kind of gave up soccer, didn't he?
He did a little bit. He held on for a little bit, and I think maybe one season still played some rec. I did kind of the whole, if you're going to play soccer, you and Carter have to be on the same team, so you're going to have to play with the older kids.
Yeah. And
he was totally cool with that. But that was kind of the end, when he couldn't play with Carter anymore, which is funny because they're not usually on the same teams. Well, I guess at Trentham they were for a little bit.
Yeah. But do you see him being, like, specializing in baseball?
He still plays other sports. Okay. So I'm not a unless we're only going to play one sport. And he's not either. He still does he does some flag football. He plays basketball in the winter. Not his favorite. He would tell you that he's not that good, yeah. But he gets out there and competes.
Yeah.
Because that's
what
Thomas.
He is. Yep.
He wants to compete. Really doesn't matter what it is. He's gonna compete. But at least for him, it can also happen in the classroom. So.
Well, that's good. That's good. Now, your youngest daughter, she's doing gymnastics?
Yes, Is
that your first endeavor into gymnastics? Because gymnastics, I've heard, can be just as crazy as all the other kids' sports.
Yes, she's done a little bit off and on. The fall has always been hard for me to get everybody all the places, and so I have missed a lot of the gymnastics, but she has pretty much done that for a couple years now.
Yeah.
She did do a season of soccer. Well, she's done 2. The first one, she stood on the field and cried.
Oh, yeah. That happens.
Yeah, then she wanted to do it again, and so I was like excited.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna do this. She was excited. She told everybody about it, and she played. I thought pretty well. She scored a couple goals. Just a little.
Yeah.
And then she told me not that long ago in the car that she didn't want to play soccer again because it made her sweat.
Oh. Yeah.
And then I didn't.
Sweating and
I
sports
didn't know.
kind of go hand
I didn't
in hand.
recognize her then.
What?
Whose kid are you?
Because you've seen those memes where the kids like come off. There's like one of like Chris Farley, and he's walking like this, and it's like the POV of the kid who has just showed up at the end. The sibling has just showed up. We don't know what they've been doing. They're all filthy. That's what I think of, like your daughter. Like I feel like that's like she just kind of shows up, and we have no idea what's happened to her.
There she is.
She knows the game's over, and she's got to come back.
Yes. That is her. I mean, I think
Getting dirty's okay, but sweating, no.
Yeah, I couldn't believe she said that. I really couldn't believe she said that. I mean, of all the things, but it hit home for me and Danny. We pulled up into Trentham one time, and we were like driving up. I can't remember who had a game, but one of the boys did, and she was like, "Not another ball field." I'm like, "Oh, poor thing." Like we just have, since the day she came home from the hospital, all we have done is drug her from ball field to ball field. But now she loves it. She's got friends on Thomas's team, and she had friends on Carter's team, and we would get there in the morning, and they'd cartwheel and do for hours. And so,
do you think she'll start softball at some point?
She mentioned that she wanted to play some t-ball. I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
I don't
right?
know, as long as it doesn't make her sweat.
Honey, it's South Carolina.
I know, right? I mean, I can sweat just sitting right here.
That's right.
I don't know. Good luck not sweating.
What would you say your coaching philosophy would be?
My coaching philosophy, I would say that my philosophy is to create an environment where my athletes feel comfortable, like having conversations with me. I'm big on building relationships with my athletes, so I don't want it. I mean, yes, it's like a coach-player kind of relationship, but I want them to know that I am truly invested in who they are as a person and not just the skills that they bring onto the court. So I guess like from a personal standpoint, that's kind of one of my biggest goals is to really let them know that I'm there for them as a person. And I think, I mean, I still talk to, actually I've had, girls on my staff that have played for me. I'm going to play softball with some of the girls that have played for me. So I do care about who they are and what they do and who they become. I want them to take the skills from the court and make that a part of who they are, just and the lessons that they learn along the way. So I guess that is part of my coaching philosophy.
The whole athlete.
The whole athlete, yeah. As opposed to just, I had a player. She graduated several seasons back, but she texted me not too long ago saying that she was teaching, and then she'd been asked to coach the volleyball team, and so she was like asking for advice on how to go about that. And I was like, well, build relationships with your players,
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I guess
Do
that's
you
fun.
can you think of an athlete that you coached that you've built a relationship that you're like extra proud of because they've had to overcome adversity in some way?
Oh. I think that in terms of adversity,
Or where you
that's
maybe
a
where
tough
you've
one.
seen growth because you've invested into them as a person?
I think some of my most, I guess, fun. I don't know if that's a great word for it, but are the ones that I still like. Like we're friends now. I think that one of those like Mackenzie, now Mitchell, that joined our coaching staff. She played for me in high school, and then now is coached with me, and now we hang out.
Yeah.
And we're friends. I think Laurel Shaw's the same way. I mean, she was just a baby when she first started playing with me, and so I think the ones that I have, maintained the closest relationships, and I've gotten to like watch them grow into adulthood, which
Right.
makes me feel really old. but it's fun to be able to be friends with them as adults. And I think that like I've had some that have played other sports in college, and so I've coached some great athletes. Volleyball has typically not been their number one sport, but to watch them excel on the collegiate level
In other sports.
in other sports, that's been fun too. I like to follow them.
Yeah.
And Lauren Scott, that played for me at Hammond, I actually I didn't take her from the basketball team, but I will tell these girls like they like to hang around the volleyball court, and I was like, that's cool, but hang around long enough and I'm going to put you in a volleyball jersey. And so Lauren was actually headed into her senior year at Hammond, and she came back one day. She's like, I talked to my mom. She said I could play. I was like, all right, let's go. Now I wish I'd have had her longer than a season, but she just played an NCAA basketball tournament this past winter.
Really?
She went to Claflin for several years. She was a standout there and transferred.
So it seems to me that because volleyball, we have the basic soccer, baseball, basketball, and volleyball is this, it's not like it's a new sport. It's been around forever. And I love volleyball. It's a great sport. And how do kids get into it? Because we start playing t-ball, 4 years old, soccer, 4 years old, and then we just kind of keep moving them up the ranks. But you don't see a lot of that beginner volleyball. And I know there are club teams out there, and it's just as serious as baseball.
Absolutely.
And all the other club travel ball teams. I have some friends who have some daughters in it, and it's hardcore.
It is.
But how do you get the kids excited or interested in it? If, like, I have a couple of nieces, and I was talking to one of them a couple of days ago, or not days ago, but weeks ago. And I was like, you could play volleyball. Have you thought about it? It's like, oh, well, they just don't think about it.
That's right.
How do we get them to think about it?
I think, and it's interesting because this is, when I do spring practice, I invite all girls who have signed up. So rising sixth, so I guess really in the spring, they're fifth graders, through, rising seniors to come to our week of spring practice. And typically, a lot of those girls, those fifth graders have no concept of volleyball, which is fine. That's the purpose. But this year, I had several who have played. And so I think maybe finally some of the rec leagues, the YMCA leagues, are starting to really expand and add volleyball on that recreational level. Because most parents, especially parents without volleyball background, are not going to say, hey, let's head over to this club. I know you never played before, but let's pay a couple $100 for you to do this. We don't know if you're going to like it or not, but let's give it a whirl. But they will, sign up for a rec league. Now, getting that interest, I think, is challenging because and I think I've thought that about several sports or sports in general, right? Like a lot of times parents are most inclined to sign their kids up for whatever they liked.
Yeah.
Because that's just what they know. And so oftentimes, and I just even kind of thought this through teaching middle school, like that's what kids are exposed to. It's typically what the parents liked.
Yeah.
So like Carter and soccer, it took us a long time to, for him to get through to us of, hey, I actually want to play this, because we were, Danny's like soccer, So
yeah,
I
soccer's
think,
okay when you're little, but when you're in
right.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even not even okay for him on that. Like we're not.
So he had warmed up to it by the time Thomas went through soccer?
By the time, it was like Carter really, I'm like, you know what? I really think we should let him try this, because he has asked and asked, and we have to remember that it's not our, like they get to do, we don't get to push our what we like.
Yeah.
That's not what they have to play. And I guess so, to circle back to your, how do we get these girls interested in volleyball? I hope that more, I hope the rec leagues will kind of, expand that and continue to grow that.
Is there a net height issue?
Some,
like, how in basketball, right, they lower the rim obviously to like 8 feet and 9 feet, and then you finally get back to 10 feet. And there's a different level of net for women and men in volleyball.
Right.
So is it something where they just lower the net? Do they do that in the rec leagues? I don't know. I
don't actually know either. I really need to talk to these girls, because it took me by such surprise, because they started like serving, and I said, you've played before. And they were like, oh yeah, we had our championship game, last weekend or last week. And I was like, oh, I guess.
All right, watch out, Hammond volleyball in 8 years from now.
Yeah, I'm super excited about them. I really am very excited about that. But pushing that is hard, because the most common things are the soccer, the t-ball, because that's what we do, right? We say, oh, they're 3 or 4 years old, time for soccer at 8 a.m. every Saturday, and that's just kind of
what we've established as a society.
Right. Yeah. Nobody's like, hey, when's that volleyball league going to kick up? And some of the skills are hard too, right? Like kicking a ball. It is hard. I try to teach it, at the middle school level. And it's hard. Like tracking a ball in the air is hard. And, so there are modifications that have to happen. And maybe some of it is just a lack of a knowledge on what modifications need to happen to make that flow more like a game, as opposed to just over the net and hit the ground, and over the net and hit the ground.
Yeah.
That's hard to watch too. I don't know. Beehive soccer is a little hard to watch too. So.
Well, Jacob finally broke through of that, and it clicked for him this year in soccer. So he was, our little team won every game, and he scored all the goals.
Yes.
It was like, yeah, we scored 6 goals, and Jacob had 4 of them.
But when it clicks, it's so fun, especially from a parenting
Yeah, and
standpoint.
he came in and he would run to midfield and have this like dance and just finally I was like, oh, he finally gets it.
Yeah.
It's great. And then it builds because it opens up on now he's enjoying baseball more and he's understanding what he's supposed to do in baseball.
Yes, and there's a confidence.
He's really ready to start playing flag football, so we'll do that this fall, and it'll be just another round robin of it all. But the idea of the introductory, it's every kid is different, right?
Yes.
So like I have 4 boys now, but it took Jacob a little longer than the other ones to like get it. And now he's starting to finally get it. And then I'm wondering, okay, is he ready to go up the coach's pitch yet or not? Or is he ready for these things because it's taken him longer for it to click? Once it clicks, then they pick it up a whole lot faster.
Yes.
And I don't know, have you seen it different between the boys and the girls where it clicks because of, girls tend to mature quicker?
I think that I can tell a big difference when a girl has played other sports prior to getting to me. Some of it is just how to be on a team. I get a lot of girls in middle school that have never been on a team. So how does that even work is sometimes challenging. Like, how do we be a good teammate? How does this team sport thing work? Like, it's not just about you. But also some of it is what kind of skill set do you already have? I was talking to a friend actually that I went to high school with. It's been a little less than a year, but we were at a birthday party and she was telling me that her girls were playing some softball maybe over at Trinum, and she said, but we played volleyball together. And she said, but I really wanted to play volleyball. She was like, she's like, I just don't think softball is it. I don't think they're that good. And I said, that's okay. They keep playing.
Yeah.
Because I can tell, like, just like some of it is like core strength. Like if you've been playing a sport, and especially like softball, and now you've got to like overhand serve a volleyball, typically those girls pick that up faster because there is this concept of like things happening over their head.
Right. Plus it's fall and spring, so why stop?
Right, and there you go. Yeah, I mean, volleyball, softball is a very common like sport combination for girls, and so like I can always tell in some capacity if an athlete has played sports previously, and like I said, it's specific to like that serve. It's with the core and the upper body strength that they typically they can pick up a volleyball and serve it, as opposed to.
What are some of the benefits you see in getting girls specifically into sports?
Communication skills, teamwork skills, leadership. How I always have the conversation of like, being a leader is different than being a boss. And I think that, and I don't think they're necessarily specific to girls, but I always talk about like the benefits of working hard. I'm a big fan of Kara Lawson and some of the things that she puts out, the Duke women's basketball coach. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of college women's basketball in general, but I remember when she played at Tennessee, and so I've kind of followed her. She's coaching now at Duke, and she talks about like hard work and like how hard. I wish I could think of her exact quote. I don't want to mess it up, but I had my girls listen to one of her little speeches one time about how hard things are hard, and it's like do hard better, because things will be hard, not just on a court or a field, but life will be hard, and you have to be able to balance those hard things. We've had conversations. I'm big in like team meetings, like once a week, maybe every other week, we'll all sit down, and we watch film, but not as part of film, but just like as a team meeting. Like, hey, let's talk together. Let's regroup.
Do you do it on the court, or do you actually like go into a classroom and sit?
We go into locker room.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes we use a dry erase board, and sometimes it's more about like goal setting. I think goal setting is very important. So we talk about that, especially on a team level. But
what's the goal for this fall season?
So we put together some actually just before we left for summer. We had a full team practice. We had one full team practice before we left for summer, and so some of the things were communicating.
Communicating how?
So I guess in different ways, like one on the court, but also we talk about off the court and how we need to like build a team chemistry, and it kind of like goes hand in hand with I forgot the term that they had onto this one for this season, or for this summer really, but like team bonding kind of activities, like even if it's just like going to grab a smoothie after practice, just so that they're like have formed relationships. Some of them don't even really know each other because some of them are young, the rising seniors, and we have a couple rising 8th graders, and so just to like get to know each other.
Do you feel like there's extra drama you have to navigate with teenage girls?
Sometimes.
Okay. Does that play into the factor of the team building concept?
Yes. It has been, now they're really good. Girls are really good at like trying to hide that part.
Okay.
They like they like to keep that within like their inner circle. Like, I know this is what I know, but don't talk. And, but I tell them, like, I can always figure it out, guys. Like, I can.
I've been in your shoes before.
I always know. Like, if you and you are not even looking at each other, something is wrong. So yes, sometimes there is some girl drama, but some seasons aren't like that at all. And so you never know until you're in it.
But I guess if you build the foundation of the team, less likely for that to happen, right?
That's our goal.
So communication was one of the goals.
Communication was one. And I always tell them, like, I want it to be measurable. Like, I want us to be able to say, hey, have we improved on this? But I don't want it to be, something that feels stressful also. So communication seems to always hit the board, which it should. Team bonding experiences typically always hits the board, and we can be very hit or miss on that. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. And they wanted to be, actually one of the ones that they talked about was to commit to the weight room.
Okay.
And my teams have always been great about being present in the weight room. They have always, really, since I have been at Hammond, they have always met the weight room summer requirement. All of the girls have met it every summer. So that's like a big thing for us. But it wasn't just about being there. It was about being focused on what they're doing and being intentional about what they're doing, and, actually understanding not just like what they're doing, but why they're doing it, and doing it together. That was one thing that they mentioned too. So weight room was a big focus, as it should be, because we're young and we're small. And so getting stronger, being
bigger, stronger, faster.
jumping higher.
Jumping higher. Well, those are great goals. I can't wait to check in with you after the season and see how they turned out.
I hope so. They're great girls, and
So I finish up every podcast with a trivia question.
okay.
And since you're a softball fan, I will give you a softball trivia question.
Oh boy.
I'm assuming you know who's in the national championship
I do.
series, right? But prior to that, Oklahoma had won the national championship how many consecutive times?
4.
Nailed it. That was easy. But it was what I could come up with off my top of my head.
That was a good one.
Rebekah, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And I was glad to hear all the insights that you have and look forward to having you back another time.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
That was it for thanks for watching. The As Told By is not. Dang. Oh. All right.
That was next.
I know, that's the next one I gotta sit down and do that. Thanks for watching the Rub Some Dirt On It podcast. If you like what you're hearing in the conversations, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.